Good morning, all of you. In this session, we are going to continue with CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science December 2019 Part C. So we are preparing series of lectures on this CSIR NET JRF. So in this Part C, entire 60 questions will be there. So it will be very difficult to frame all 60 questions in a single video. That's the reason why we fragmented into different fractions. Series 1 consists of 1 to 10 questions. Series 2, more 10 questions will be there. Now we are in series 3. So we are going to discuss all these questions in the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry, right? So now let us move on to our actual topic, where third series question number. So 1 to 10 completed in series 1. 11 to 20 completed in series 2. Now 21 onwards we are going to continue. Let us enter into that. Here, it is the part of organic chemistry question where we have OH, CH2, C double bond CH, C triple bond C, C triple bond C, CH double bond CH, CH2OH. This is a compound provided to us where we have olefinic double bond, estulinic triple bonds are provided. And it is treated with the reducing agent called hydrogen in the presence of Lindlart's catalyst. Palladium barium sulfate mixture is said to be a Lindlart's catalyst, and we will get compound A. Now compound A is subjected to heating so that it involved in concerted mechanism and product B formation is possible. Now let us see what will be the suitable sequence for this transformation of organic compound into compound A and followed by B. Now let us see. Whenever Lindlart's catalyst was taken, it is obviously generates cis alkyne. Cis alkyne get converted into alkene. So cis alkene is the major product in this product. Alkyne is converted into cis alkene, right? So how it is possible, let us see. Lindlart's catalyst stands for palladium and barium sulfate mixture. We have 2 triple bonds in this compound, and upon treating with hydrogen in the presence of Lindlart's catalyst, specifically cis alkene will be generated. Here, this bond is turned into cis, this also turned into cis, so that the sequential arrangement will be in this manner, where 2 double bonds are arranged in the cis. So where 2 alkyl groups are in the same side, higher priority 2 alkyl groups are in the same side is said to be a cis isomer. Hence, correct orientation for this reduction process will be in this manner. This is the compound A what we are obtaining. So only option number 2 is having. So there is no ambiguity, so that we can easily distinguish what is the compound A and subsequent compound B, because only A is matching with one option. That's why option number 2 is the right answer. Let us predict how product B will be obtained in this. So whenever it's subjected to heating, so when heating is possible, so before that heating, what we will do? So within the molecule, within the structure, we have 8 pi electrons which are in the conjugation. So this involved in internal delocalization of electrons, so that cyclization will be carried and we will get this conjugated 6 pi electron system. This conjugated 6 pi electron system is in the form of 4n+2 rule, and upon thermal heating, it will be cyclized in this manner so that we will get a concerted product which is in cis manner. Again, all bonds are in cis, double bonds are in cis, so that the product obtained will be option number 2 only, right? For this question number 21, so where we have 2 triple bonds, these triple bonds are selectively reduced by Lindlart's catalyst and cis isomer generation is possible. That is obviously option number 2, right? Upon heating, being it is a 4n+2 system, it used to give the cis isomer, and option number 2 is satisfying all these sequential steps, right? So correct answer will be 2. Now, let us move on to question number 22, where we have the problem which is based on physical chemistry, and here it is mentioned as, consider the gas phase reaction 2A plus 3B gives rise to 2C at a given temperature. When 2 moles of A are reacted with 2 moles of B, 0.8 moles of C are formed at equilibrium at the total pressure of 2 bar. The value of equilibrium constant Kp of this reaction at a given temperature is closest to 2, right? So we have to predict this equilibrium constant value. In order to get the equilibrium constant Kp, the formula will be Pc square by Pa square and Pb square, right? So Pa square into Pb square was taken here. So in order to do this, first we have to go with its formula. 2A plus 3B gives rise to 2C. So here pressure terms are given. So in terms of pressure, we are going to predict the equilibrium constant value. Kp will be predicted. In order to get that, first we have to find out number of moles of each and every element which are participating in this chemical equation, right? Initial number of moles of A are given as 2. 2 moles of A get combined with 3 moles of B. So B moles of initially are 3. At a time 0, the reaction is not completed. That's the reason why product formation may not be possible. Hence, concentration C will be denoted as 0 at initial moles, right? So change in moles after T times, it is represented as minus 2x, because when time passes, what happens? Reactant slowly converted into product. So change in number of moles of reactants given denoted with minus sign, right? So it will become minus 2x and B minus 3x and C will be generated 2x. So after T time, 2 moles of product formation is possible. So product is progressing. That's why it is denoted with positive sign, right? So minus 2x it will be A, minus 3x will be B, and 2x will be for C. At the equilibrium, it will be given as 2 minus 2x, 2 minus 3x for B, and 0.8. Here, number of moles of C will be given at equilibrium 0.8 moles. So 0.8 moles, right? So it is obvious that 2x is given as 0.8. Now x becomes 0.4. If we substitute this x value, we will get number of moles of A, B, and C obviously given it is, right? So when we go with this 2 minus 2x, if we substitute x value here, 2 minus 2 into 0.4. Here it will be 2 minus 3 into 0.4. So when 2 minus 2 into 0.4, it will become 1.2. That is nothing but number of moles of A at the equilibrium. Number of moles of B at the equilibrium is equal to 2 minus 3 into 0.4. It will be 0.8, right? So Na is known, Nb is also known. So Na, A atom number of moles will be 1.2. B atom moles will be 0.8. C atom 0.8 already. So in order to sum all number of moles, sum of all number of moles is equal to Na plus Nb plus Nc. Na moles are 1.2. Nb is given as 0.8. Nc is also given as 0.8. So total number of moles which are present in this chemical equation will be 2.8, right? Pc, pressure of C term, that is product, is equal to number of moles of C into present moles divided by total number of moles, right? Pc is equal to number of moles of C into present moles upon total number of moles, okay? So if we substitute all numerical values in this, we will get Pc, right? So number of moles of C, how many moles of C are there? 0.8. Then present moles, in the equation, how many C moles are there? 2, right? So 0.8 into 2 and total number of moles are given by 2.8. So this is for Pc. Now let us substitute these values in this equation. Equilibrium, what is that? Equilibrium constant. Kp is equal to Pc square by Pa square into Pb square, right? Pc value we know. What is Pc value? 0.8 into 2 divided by 2.8 whole square, right? So by Pa is also given in the same way. Pa number of moles are 1.2 into 2 by 2.8 whole square. and PB is given as 0.8 into 2 by 2.8 whole square. If we substitute all these values in this equilibrium constant, what happens? We will get the value 2.4. This 2.4 is the right answer for this question. And option number 3 is consisting 2.4. So that correct answer will be option number 3 for question number 22. So if we know the formula, Kp is equal to Pc square by Pa square into Pb square, it is possible to predict this equilibrium constant value. Now, let us move on to question number 23. In a polymer of n monomer units, root mean square separation between two ends is proportional to. In a polymer, n number of monomeric units are present, root mean square separation between two ends are proportional to. In order to get this, first we have to know the formula. So root mean square velocity nothing but RMS velocity. The RMS is given as L into under root n. N is nothing but number of monomeric units present. L is nothing but length of the monomer. How extent it is long. Okay. So the RMS is equal to length into under root n, right? So if L is removed, what happens? D is proportional to under root n, nothing but D proportional to n to the power 1 by 2. So RMS velocity of this polymeric unit is proportional to n to the power 1 by 2. Option number 3. Option number 1 is having n to the power 1 by 2. So correct answer will be 1. For question number 23, option number 1 will be the right answer. Now, let us move on to question number 24, where the electrochemical cell silver chloride MCl separated by MCl 0.02 molar AgCl Ag. This is a cell notation which is given for concentration cell. It is the kind of concentration cell. Why we are saying concentration cell? In two compartments, we are taking silver as an electrode and silver chloride is an electrolytic solution. But change in the concentration will be observed, right? So if composition is same, but change in the concentration is there, those are called concentration cells. For this concentration cell, we have to predict junction potential is the highest when M plus E is. Okay, we have to predict their junction potential value. In order to predict the junction potential value, we have the formula. Liquid junction potential value is equal to T positive. T positive stands for, this is a transport number of cation, right? So transport number of cation, RT by NF, ln A2 by A1. Activity coefficients of A2 and A1 should be taken. A2, A1 are given for, so let us assume the part always in the cell notation, left side parts will be denoted for anodic compartment, right side part will be denoted for cathodic compartment. A2 is given for activities of cathodic compartment by A1 stands for activity which is given for anodic compartment, right? A2 is cathode, A1 is anode. Whenever these values are substituted, RT by NF ln A2 by A1, this whole term becomes constant. There is no variation, right? So that's the reason why liquid junction potential clearly depends upon transport number of cation what we are taking in this electrolytic solution. For that purpose, we have one prediction. In order to get the transport number mainly depends upon charge present on the species and also speed of the species. Okay, when we observe the charge on all the 4 options given in the problem, all are unipositive in nature. All are unipositive. That's why there is no chance for predict which is slow, which is fast, right? Now let us move on to another option called speed of ions. Greater the speed of ions, greater will be the mobility, greater will be the transport number, right? So obviously H plus being it is a smaller one, highest speed will be there, highest conduction will be provided to H plus. Hence, obviously, liquid junction potential for these H plus is the highest. That's the reason why option number 1 is the right answer. It is predicted by using the formula. Liquid junction potential is equal to T plus RT by NF ln A2 by A1. Okay. So entire term will be constant. There is no variation. That's the reason why only this LJP is purely depending upon T positive. Nothing but transport number of cationic species, right? Here, transport number purely depends upon speed. Highest moving cation among all the given 4 options will be H plus. Not only given options, among all the cations, highest conductivity will be given for highest transport number is given for H plus only. That's the reason why for question number 24, option number 1 is the right answer. Let us move on to question number 25. The function which is not the eigenfunction of the indicated operator. Operator and function both are given. We have to predict which is not an eigenfunction. In order to predict that, we have to go with the simplest terms first. So simplest terms are this option number 4, option number 2. Later we will go with 1 and 3, right? So for this option number 4, if we apply this equation A cap psi is equal to K psi. So in order to predict the eigenfunction, A cap psi is equal to K psi will be the formula. Psi is called the eigenfunction here. K is the eigenvalue and always K value will be constant, right? So by taking operator d square by dx square is equal to d by dx minus sine pi x by 4. This is the formula which is given in general, right? So when we apply this formula for operator and function which are provided in option number 3 first, when we are applying to option number 3 first, function will be cos pi x by 4, pi x by 4 and first derivative, second derivative. First derivative will be pi by 4 and second derivative will be, so it will be squared minus pi square by 4 square, right? So by differentiating both the sides, pi now turned into the final product pi only. Hence we can say this is a kind of eigenfunction. So in the problem what they are mentioned, so not an eigenfunction. We have to predict which is not an eigenfunction. Now let us move on to option number 2. For option number 2, so for our convenience, we are taking differentiate d by dx was taken as capital D. When d square by dx square was taken, it is denoted as d square, right? So for option 2, d square by dx square is nothing but d square plus x square. D square plus x square e to the power minus x2 by 2, right? So here in this, x square is not a constant value. Whatever x square value is there, that is not a constant value. That's the reason why it is not a kind of eigenfunction. For option number 2, because there is a variation in this minus x square value whenever it is multiplied with this function, what happens? So it will not be considered as an eigenfunction. That's the reason why option number 2 is the correct answer for question number 25. Option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 26, where oxidation of nitric oxide into nitrogen dioxide occurs via mechanism given below, right? We are taking nitric oxide and it is converted into N2O2 by K1 rate constant. Into O2 can be added with oxygen, so that K2 will be followed. Here the formation of nitrogen dioxide. So when we take the differential of this one, dNO2 by dt in the presence of large excess of oxygen, if differential of dNO2 by dt was taken, then how can we write this equation? In order to write this equation, let us move on to differential of N2O2 by dt is equal to K1 NO square N2O2 by dt is equal to K1 NO square, because here the coefficient will be 2 minus K inverse N2O2. K inverse N2O2 minus K2 N2O2 into O2. N2O2 into O2. So this is a differential of dN2O2 by dt. dN2O2 by dt, because it is present in both the equations. That's the reason why KNO whole square minus K inverse N2O2 minus K2 into N2O2 into O2, right? So this will be the formula which is given for differential of N2O2, right? Now, let us take this one. K1 NO whole square is equal to K inverse N2O2 plus K2 N2O2 minus 2. Okay, this differential becomes a 0. dN2O2 by dt is equal to 0, right? So that is exactly is equal to this value, right? So whenever we are taking K1 NO whole square towards left hand side, whatever negative terms are there, they becomes a positive. So K1 NO square is equal to K inverse N2O2 plus K2 N2O2 and O2. Okay, so N2O2 is equal to K1 NO whole square by K inverse plus K2 O2. So in this way also the equation can be represented, which is exactly matching with 2 K1 K2 NO whole square and O2. Option number 2 is the right answer for this question, right? So it is the kind of kinetics where we are applying this differential of this one at a large excess of oxygen, so that option number 2 will be the right answer. Now let us move on to question number 27. Among SO2OHF, CH3COOH, lithium fluoride, water, the compound which behaves as a base in liquid HF, right? So if we know the strength of all the acids and bases, it is possible to predict which is behaving like a base, which is behaving like a acid, right? So in order to get that, HF when treated with water, HF being it is a stronger acid, it will behave like a acid, and obviously water should behave like a base in that, so that there is a formation of when water is base, it abstracts the proton, so it is converted into hydronium ion and fluoride formation will be possible, right? Here water will be the base in this, and we have to predict remaining bases also. In order to predict remaining bases, the correct order will be, strength of acids will be H2SO3, F, it will be the stronger one, HF will be next level, and the sulfuric acid, formic acid, acetic acid, water, DMSO, and ammonia. It is a mild acid. We can say it is the mild base. Basic nature will be started here, right? So among all, if any species less than HF behaves like a base only. If more than HF, the species behaves like an acid, right? So in this, when we are treating HF with all these compounds, SO2OHF, which is above than this HF, the strength of acidic nature of this H2SO3F will be more. That's why obviously it will be the acid in the medium. So it will not be suitable. So whatever SO2OHF is there, that kind of options will be discarded. Only option 3 will be there, right? Whenever we are taking acetic acid, the strength of acetic acid will be lower than HF. So in presence of HF, this acetic acid behaves like a base, right? So that's why this acetic acid is also right answer. Water is also right answer because water is also behind this HF. So water is also right answer. And obviously lithium fluoride is also. So option number 4 is the correct statement for this one. When HF is treated with all these compounds, the compound which laying behind this HF will behave like a base. What are there? One is acetic acid, second is water, and another one is lithium fluoride. Option number 4 is the right answer for question number 27. Let us move on to 28, where irreducible representations are provided for which compound? C2V symmetry point group. It is the part of group theory. So reducible representations, rho is table equals to following superposition of the irreducible representation of C2V point group. Okay, so for this we have to predict which is a suitable answer. It is C2V symmetry, 4 operations are carried, E identity, and C2 axis of symmetry, sigma V vertical plane, sigma V star were performed, and here A1, A2, B1, B2, and this gamma. These are the functions which are provided here, and these are the values corresponding irreducible representation values are provided. Now we have to use the formula. Ni is equal to 1 by H sigma n chi I chi n chi I n chi R will be taken, right? So here H stands for order of the point group. The point group provided here will be 4. That's why. So it will become 1 by 4 for all the irreducible representations. So here n will be the sum of all the coefficient. This n will be given for sum of all the coefficient. Let us predict the values for 1 by 1. First, let us go with A1, right? So sum of coefficient n A1 is equal to 1 by 4. Now we have to go with 1 into 1 into 8. 1 into 1 into 8 should be taken here. 1 into 1 into 8 plus second one will be 1 into 1 into minus 2, right? 1 into 1 into minus 2. And third one will be 1 into 1 into minus 6. 1 into 1 into minus 6. Fourth one will be 1 into 1 into 4. 1 into 1 into 4. So in this way, we have to go with sum of all the numbers. So NA1, total number of coefficients for A1 is given by order of the reaction, that is 4, 1 by 4, 1 into 1 into 8 plus 1 into 1 into minus 2 plus 1 into 1 into minus 6 plus 1 into 1 into 4. When we do all these calculations, so number of coefficients of A1 will be given as 1 representation, right? In the same way, we have to apply for A2. In order to apply for A2, 1 into 1 into, in order to get for A2, so it will be 1 into 1 into 8 plus 1 into 1 into here 1 into 1 into minus 2, 1 into minus 1 into minus 6, 1 into minus 1 into minus 6, 1 into minus 1 into 4. It will be 1 into minus 1 into 4. If we do all these calculations here, we will get 2 is the correct representation for total number of coefficient for A2. For B1, it will be, for B1, it will be 1 into minus 1 into 8, 1 into 1 into minus 2, 1 into 1 into minus 6, 1 into minus 1 into 4. This is for B1. So when we do all the calculation, it will become NB1 is equal to 0. Now let us move on to NB2. 1 into 1 into 8, 1 into minus 1 into minus 2, 1 into minus 1 into minus 6, 1 into 1 into 4, right? So this will be the possible multiplication, and we will get sum of coefficients of B2 will be 5. Okay, for A1, 1, for A2, 2, for B1, 0, B2, 5. So in this, A1, 1, A2, 2, B1, 0, B2, 5. Option number 2 is satisfying this statement. So for question number 28, option number 2 will be the right answer, right? So let us move on to question number 29, where we are having organic chemistry question. We are taking 2 types of carbenes. Here, this carbon having 2 odd electrons upon that, which is said to be a carbene intermediate, and this carbene intermediate is in the contact with this cyclic system. Okay, 2 types of cyclic systems are provided to us, and we have to predict what will be the suitable answers A and B, right? So in order to get this, we have to go with its mechanism. Whenever this carbene is there and it's preferentially reacted with axial hydrogen, so that cyclization will be carried here. Axial hydrogen will be replaced, being it is the highly reactive, and we will get cyclized product at this position, and 5-membered ring formation is possible here, right? So now we can observe this 5-membered ring, which is a compound A. Whenever compound T2 was taken, where we have any other ring type of structure, it is a kind of bicyclic ring. There is no possibility of this carbene to attach at this position, because here already this position is sterically hindered. Hence, it will be treated with this carbon having least hindered side, and axial hydrogen will be replaced again, and we will get 4-membered ring at this position. In the first compound, bottom phase attachment is possible and ring will be generated at this bottom side. In the second one, being it is the bicyclic, this position is not favorable for the cyclization and this carbene preferentially attached to the carbon of higher side, and it will be generating this cyclic system at topmost region of this cyclic ring. Let us see which is suitable option for this. Now, bottom phase attachment is possible in option 1, option 2, option 3 is not correct, option 4 is also not correct. So either 1 or 2 may be the right answer for this one, right? Now let us move on to B. So for B, it should be upper phase, not in the side phase. So option number 1 is the correct answer for this organic chemistry question, carbene intermediate. In first option, so axial attachment at this carbon is possible from the bottom phase. In the second option, carbene will be attached to the axial hydrogen which is present in the topmost position. Option number 1 is the suitable answer for this. Let us move on to next question. It is the last question of this series. The major product of this following: platinum PME3 whole 4. Platinum PME3 whole 4 was taken and is treated with CF3C double bond go CF3, right? So these two compounds when treated, what will be the product generated? We have to predict. So here the platinum complex is a square planar and it is 18 electron system. Central platinum is surrounded by 4 PME3 functional groups. Now it is a 18 electron system. When we are removing one of the PME3 trimethylphosphine, we will generate one vacant site. Vacant site is available. Now it is treated with another reagent, that is CF3C double bond go CF3. There is a formation of bond between platinum and carbon. So it is a kind of nucleophilic attachment of platinum to this carbon, carbonylic carbon, so that we will get new bond and O minus will be generated. Here vacant site is there and here O minus is there. Obviously they involved in cyclization, and here cyclic ether will be generated in this manner, and subsequent removal of one PME3. There is a formation of PME3 and cyclic product CF3 will be generated. Which option is satisfying? Option number 2 is satisfying this statement. For this question number 30, option number 2 is the right product, because initially square planar complex, it is converted into electron deficient system. Later it is attached with the CF3C double bond with CF3, and finally it involved in cyclization. So that product will be option number 2. By this, we completed series 3 where 10 questions of CSIR NET December 2019 were entirely covered. Hope it will be helpful to you. Thank you. Thank you very much.